This all began March 5th, 2018. I noticed a bump on my calf that just didn't seem normal. I was pregnant, so I talked to my midwife and she sent me in for an ultrasound. The ultrasound came back clear. So we did an x-ray and that came back clear too. They assumed it was probably excess or trapped fluid from pregnancy, as bodies retain a lot of fluid during pregnancy. But pretty quickly it began to swell and walking became really difficult. I got to the point where I really didn't walk on my leg at all, because the more I walked, the more it swelled, and if I didn't walk, then it didn't swell and it stayed down. 6 weeks before my delivery, I woke up with this terrible pain and we went to the ER. Again, ultrasound comes back clear. X-ray comes back clear. Totally weird. So because I've got this severe shooting pain up and down my leg, ER finally agrees to do an MRI, but I have to do it outpatient. So we schedule the MRI right away, and the next day we meet with the doctor. Based on the MRI, they concluded I had one of three things: a bone infection, but I had no fever and it had been going on for months. 2, a large calcium deposit, but my body had no history of developing calcium due to trauma. Or 3, a malignant cancerous tumor. Great. So at this point, things are looking pretty grim. I was immediately scheduled for a biopsy 2 hours away from my home at a major sarcoma center. I passed out during the biopsy, so we didn't get a very large sample and had to wait a couple extra days for our test results. So 3 days later, I receive a call from the doctor who took the biopsy. Have you ever had a doctor ask you if you're sitting down? You've got cancer, he says. The next 2 weeks were basically a blur.
About 3 weeks ago, I woke up with severe pain in my leg and shooting up and down the back of my leg. I cannot get through 5 more weeks of pregnancy or 6 more weeks of pregnancy like this. And now we'll meet with the oncologist for the first time for them to tell us the same thing, you really do have cancer. And it's strange from going from one of the healthiest people you know to literally being the sickest person that you know. And then I feel the pain and I remember something's definitely wrong.
We took my baby and I had some scans done, and that's when it was confirmed that I didn't just have a sarcoma, but it had already spread throughout my body. In my next video, we talk about quickly delivering my baby and how I found myself in a cancer center just 36 hours after her delivery. If you're curious what happens when somebody's diagnosed with cancer, go ahead and click my link. If you're interested in following my cancer journey moving forward and how it's led me to a life of minimalism, go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Okay, let's keep going. Go ahead and subscribe and then click right up here for video number 2 of 6 in this series.